Welcome back to Benny's Custom Works, proudly supported by Sparesbox and Valvoline. Today we're back on the IS200. We're chipping away at this project. We've made a little bit of progress off camera in the last couple of days. So since you guys last saw it, we've now got our radiator dummy fitted in conjunction with our power steering cooler on the left and our engine oil cooler on the right. The main things today, we are going to be pulling the engine and transmission out so we can do our clutch and we can do our engine mount weld out. So get that all completed. We may also run our starter motor main cable today because that's going to be a little bit fiddly once we start to mount a heap of stuff back up. And we'll just see how we go from there. We'll probably try and get our fuel system in. We've got Raceworks rails and injectors to go in it. So we can run E85 if we want to a bit later on. The tank is full of E85 currently, so I'm kind of undecided on what fuel we're actually going to run this on. I was going to go back to 98, but I don't know yet. We'll work it out. But yeah, plenty to do today. So we're going to basically jump in, pull the front of the car back apart, pull the engine and transmission out, and then throw our clutch in and do some plumbing. Let's do it. God, I can't believe you ruined that stat right off IS200. This whole motor and box combo is only 20 kilos heavier than what was in it, and it makes like triple the power. We're about to put the transmission back onto the bell housing, which has already been bolted to the engine. We've just put our new clutch in, that's all sorted. But I thought it was worth mentioning this braided hose, purely because you've probably already seen us welding up this fitting. Long story short, the braided line kit we purchased from the same company that actually do the clutch master cylinder upgrade. The line doesn't suit a VE slave cylinder or concentric slave. So I'm basically going to be making my own braided clutch line out of Raceworks line and fittings. Obviously, there's nothing that I can find available online that's going to push straight into that VE style master slave cylinder, because it's got the clip-in retainer as opposed to the VT to VZ one, which has a threaded port. The other problem is too, the line kit that we got was a bleed and a supply line, but neither of those lines fit the slave, so we're just going to be running the standard VE style bleeder. It's not ideal, but we need to keep moving forward with the project. If we ever pull the box out again, we'll probably revisit that. But I just thought it was worth mentioning. And the other thing we're going to do with this line is actually put a quick release fitting in it, which is a dry brake. So basically that'll mean once we've bled this hydraulic system, if we ever have to pull the transmission out again, we don't have to bleed the system again. It's basically just going to lock it off and keep it sealed. So super nice and super handy for like motorsport vehicles if you've got a drift car or a track car or whatever. So if you're pulling it out, those dry brake fittings really do make a massive difference. We've got a fair bit done already today. We've got our engine now back in for the final time. Our engine mounts are welded up. We've got our clutch system done, including all the clutch hydraulics. So now we're going to move on to our fuel system. That's going to consist of some E85 spec Raceworks injectors, twin fuel rails, and some dash 6 line coming up. We're going to run 2 feeds, and because this is a deadhead system, there is no return. So we're just going to block all the return ports off on the rails. I am probably going to drill and tap one of the rails for our fuel pressure fitting, because from what I can tell, there's no 1810 PT thread directly in that rail. But that isn't going to be an issue. That's like a 2-minute job for us, so we'll get it sorted. But first, we'll rip off all the existing rail and injector setup, then we'll unpack our Raceworks setup and see how it's all going to fit in. Well, we've had a pretty solid day again today. We've ticked a lot of stuff off the box. The engine is in the car for the final time now. Our clutch is in, our transmission's all mounted up. We've got more plumbing done today. We've got our fuel system all but done. The only thing we have to do is actually swap back to a returnless type fuel pressure unit in the tank. And then that's sorted. Got our clutch line made. That was a bit of a mission, more than a mission that I'd anticipated, purely because the hard line actually coming out of the bell housing wasn't 3/16. I believe it's a metric line. So we ended up re-terminating that to a -3 and welding it to the original Commodore fitting. The next major thing to do is make the extractors. Funnily enough, someone has literally just tagged me on a Facebook post, someone selling an LS1 conversion into an IS200. Unfortunately, we're already this far in, so we're just going to keep going with our own stuff. But it'll mean you guys will get to see us make more things. So watch me boogering extractors together is going to be an amazing feat of videography. Can't wait for that. But all in all, still more progress today than we were hoping, so plenty of things done. Thank you again to Raceworks. Those guys have been supporting us for a while. This car's got a ton of Raceworks stuff in it again. Obviously we've been using it for quite a while, as I've mentioned. But yeah, stoked with the outcome. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.